Debut for online B2B portal, B2B travel distribution platform TBO Tech lists at 1,426 rupees a share versus the issue price of 920. Aadhar Housing was the second listing today. It's all subdued kind of listing, but then it picked up and ended about 5% higher.
Capital goods stocks see good gains buoyed by strong earnings from Siemens, possible deployment of funds in recently closed NFO of HDFC Manufacturing Fund also aids the up move. Chemical stocks also rise as brokerage firm UBS sees signs of modest volume recovery. Hello and welcome to Markets Forward, your go-to show where we aim to get you all the key data points to gear you up for the next trading day. I'm Reema Tendulkar and with me is Prashant. Hi Prashant.
Reema, hi. Quiet day, right?
Quiet, very quiet.
Absolutely quiet day. And
we're not used to it, right? Last 2 days were good days on the way up, but before that, slam dunk for the market.
Slam dunk for the markets. And, it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here on. We'll get to that in just a bit, but let's just quickly tell you volume-led gainers in the broader market I'm talking about, in the broader universe, outside the large caps. It was a really robust list of big gains. Capital goods, of course, was the real big gainer of the day. There's, of course, Siemens and Linde India and not ABB today, but CG Power, which almost had lakh crores in market capitalization, and so many others. The PSU theme still stays alive, and today it found expression through the banks index. The PSU bank index was up another 1.5% or so. So, pretty sort of solid in the broader space. And that's the reason why I'm saying, even though frontline markets were quiet, I think I would say this is a good day instead of not a bad day at all, a quiet day, not a bad day at all, a quiet day to a good day. Reema.
Well, absolutely. And we'll talk about the individual movers. Let's quickly tell you what we've lined up for you on our show today. We start with the top movers and shakers of the day. Hormuz joins in. Capital goods stocks took the spotlight, while some chemical stocks were buzzing on the back of brokerage commentary from UBS. We'll get you the key reasons behind that. And D Street segment, D Street Chatter, CNBC TV 18's popular segment, also on the show, where Nimesh will tell us why LIC was higher in today's trade. And last but not the least, we delve into the key market events to watch out for. But first up, let's get to the first segment of the day. Hormuz joins in from the big wall with all the top stocks.
Back to business as usual, because the benchmark indices were a bit of a struggle, consolidating in snooze mode, but the broader markets were in a league of their own. And as you were highlighting, the PSU banks, they were the sector of the day today as well. Second day of gains. The Canara Bank X split today, but the stock ended 5% higher. It was the top gainer in today's session on the PSU bank index. And barring PNB, all other constituents, Indian Bank, Union Bank, Bank of India, UCO Bank, all of them ended with gains in today's session. But the flip side, FMCG continued to struggle for the second day in a row, and Colgate was the lead laggard there in that sector. After the earnings, they're 5.5% lower for Colgate and Dabur, UBL, Marico, all of them seeing losses of anywhere between 1 to 2%. Plenty of other earnings that came out today and after market hours yesterday and saw some extreme reactions. Granules not so much, but Jyoti Laboratories ending 4% lower. Repco Home a 5% gain, but slightly off the highs of the day. Siemens at a record high, 6.5% higher, and PFC as well reacting to earnings 3.5% higher. Some MSCI updates that came in earlier this morning, and most of the reactions that came in stocks like Zomato, Vedanta, Zomato and Vedanta is because, and in Suzlon as well, that's because of the weightage increase that will result in more inflows for these stocks. And Zomato, PB Fintech and NHPC, the inclusions there, PB Fintech ending 4% higher, but NHPC not having a good day today. And lastly, real estate is another sector that stood out in an otherwise sleepy market. Brigade Enterprises 9.5% higher today, and almost 1100 now is Brigade. Sobha, Prestige, Oberoi, all constituents of the real estate index having a good day in today's session. Back to you.
All right, Hormuz, thanks very much for that. So that's a wrap out of what happened. Let's get in Ambareesh Baliga on the program. Ambareesh, good afternoon. Good to have you with us here. Just a quick word on the market itself, Ambareesh, because the large caps at Nifty had been pulling back from 5.5%, and there was a lot of election talk, and it's the political heat and noise, sound bites that will continue. But looking at today's market, it's a pretty healthy screen because mid caps and small caps did well. I mean, that's the real test of how it's going, and there was more up than down by far. Your thoughts?
Well, that's true, but then, every day seems to be so different now because, look at yesterday. Clearly, we were quite bullish the way the market started. it seemed that over the next few days, we could see the markets going more towards that 22,600, 650 levels. But then suddenly you had a cut in the afternoon. And the way the markets have behaved today, although the indices haven't gone really anywhere, but we are seeing some strength today. So the way I look at it is, this is a pre-election results. I think the markets will be in a range of possibly 21,900, 22,000 to upside of about 22,650. I think crossing that could be a bit difficult. And I think for crossing that or breaking down, there has to be a major news event, and that would be on June 4th. So till then, I think we will be broadly in this range.
Okay, let's get to capital goods then. That was clearly the sector of the day. Thermax, Siemens, CG Power all witnessed gains driven by a positive growth outlook and strong brokerage commentary. Bhamakshi joins in with the details. Bhamakshi.
Well, absolutely. It's been a dream run for all of these capital good names. Today, Siemens was in focus, obviously, on the back of a strong set of numbers, which were much better than what we were expecting. Apart from that, the demerger news flow also was another trigger that played out in Siemens' favor. But apart from that, when we look at Thermax, this stock was also a buzz in the trading session today after reports emerged of its inclusion in MSCI's Global Standard Index. But another possible trigger for the capital goods space at large is the fact that the NFO, the HDFC Manufacturing Fund, closed on May 10th. In fact, this fund is benchmarked against Nifty India Manufacturing Index, which in turn has a 21% weightage in the capital goods space. So overall, possible deployment of funds could have been one of the triggers that pushed all of these stocks higher. In fact, not just today, on a year-to-date basis as well, all of these stocks have surged anywhere between 40 to 77%. The valuations resultantly have also surged for all of these counters. In fact, for we have all of these counters are trading at valuations which are much above the 2-year average as well. Resultantly, when we look at the consensus target price estimates, they are much lower as compared to the current market price, resulting in a return potential of anywhere between -16 to 22.5%. But nevertheless, there's no denying the fact that there are several medium to long-term triggers in place for all of these counters. For Siemens, brokerages highlight that the company is well prepared to reap the benefits of the upcoming capex cycle. In fact, the management also said that it is just the beginning of private sector capex. So again, that could be another positive trigger that could play out in the company's favor. ABB, Motilal Oswal says that this company has one of the best ROIs in the industry, and in fact, they believe that the company will be benefiting from the increased addressable markets and will also improve its share of high growth segments. Thermax has witnessed subdued ordering activity of late, but it is expected to pick up ahead. And in fact, some traction is expected to be seen for its newly introduced products. And lastly, CG Power. Power and railways are expected to be twin growth engines for this company. And not only that, an additional kicker from the semiconductor foray could also play in the company's favor. So overall, the companies have had a dream run. Yes, the valuations are high, but the medium term to long term outlook looks quite favorable.
Ambareesh, come in on this. Siemens at 95 times forward multiple, ABB at over 100 times. Even if you believe in the long-term story of capital goods and these stocks, but an entry point at these levels, what value does it leave? What's the upside from here on?
I would say that there's still some more upside from here because the sort of order flows which are coming in and the execution, the way it has improved for these companies. I think that will continue at least in the foreseeable future. When one wants to buy at these levels, what I would generally suggest is buy a smaller quantity, maybe about 25% of your total quantity at this price. The markets are volatile, and it's very much possible that you could get it also a bit cheaper in case the market's correct. So buy at least the balanced quantity at lower levels. If not, if it continues to move up, then maybe about 3 to 4% higher, finish off the balanced quantity.
Okay. Shrikant is also now with us. Shrikant Chouhan of Kotak. Shrikant, good afternoon. Good to have you with us here. Just a quick sort of analysis of the price action. Ambareesh was telling us that till the results come for elections, it's going to be quiet, at least on the Nifty. Expect nothing very large. That seems pretty logical. That ties in with your reading of the market?
Yeah, I think the trend of the market is clearly indicating us that it is showing a lot of strength, but at the same time it is in the range because we saw a spectacular rally in last few months and few weeks. So because of that, it is consolidating at higher levels. But while looking at the entire pattern of the market, I think already the market has corrected to its important levels like 21,800 or 700. And from here again, we can see the levels of 22,700 or 800 levels. But the real action will come if it crosses the levels of 22,800. And while looking at the setup of index heavyweights, I think the market is about to cross these levels.
Okay, let's quickly talk about Bharti Airtel because that moved higher in the last 1 hour of trade when the investor call was underway. The investor call started at 2:30 p.m. The management in the investor call bats for tariff hikes from here on. And his words were that tariffs in India are at an absurdly low level compared to anywhere in the world. Tariff repair is needed, significant tariff repair is needed. And even if India gets to 300 rupee ARPU level, the ARPUs in India will still be amongst the lowest. That said, he batted for tariff hikes, but he didn't say when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, and what the quantum of a tariff hike is going to be. But, just going by the body language, it does appear that, the management is going to be pushing for a tariff hike. The second important takeaway is that FY24 was the peak capex year for the company, and going ahead, it will moderate. If capex comes down, that means the amount of cash in the company's hands, the free cash flow, goes up. The stock has done well. It's up 27% year to date, 65% in the last 1 year. And in terms of Q4 numbers, very, very steady for the India mobile business with the 2% revenue growth quarter on quarter. Very strong subscriber addition and EBITDA margins being steady at 55.1%. Africa was a bit of a bother because of the Nigerian devaluation. But, one of the analysts pointed out that Africa is less than 10% to Bharti's consolidated valuation. So, yes, Africa resulted in the consolidated numbers missing the mark, but it's not causing too much of a flutter for investors. Shrikant, coming on Bharti Airtel, what does the chart tell you about the way forward?
Yeah, Bharti is showing a lot of strength. In fact, since the last 1.5 years, if we see the overall trend of the stock, then it is consistently forming higher top, higher bottom series. In fact, it was around 700 levels in the month of Jan 2023. But from there, all the way, it is at 1300. I think now it is very close to the next crucial levels of 1400, 1450 based on extensions, based on price retracements. Even at these levels, we are of the view that it's a buy because in the recent time, it was somewhere close to 1280, 1290 levels. And from there, again, it is recovering back. So broadly, it is heading upward. The overall telecom sector is also showing a lot of momentum and strength. So we are specifically bullish on the stock.
You have a favorable view on Idea or not really?
For Idea also, I think it is consolidating above its important levels. So based on technicals, I think the risk-reward ratio is quite favorable for holding long positions or for creating positional long trades in the stock. It is going to trade within the range of maybe 12 or 11 on the downside, but on the higher side, upside is somewhere close to 18 to 19 rupees, which is quite decent. So risk-reward ratio is again favorable for Idea. And again, if we go through with other few telecom companies or related business companies, I think most of them are showing a lot of strength.
Okay, let's get to the IPO news then. The 2,615 crore initial public offering of Go Digit has opened for subscription today. And meanwhile, B2B travel distribution platform TBA Tech has made a stellar debut. Yash joins in with the details. Yash.
Well, Rima, let's first talk about the company that listed on the exchanges today, TBO Tech. That listed with a premium of 55% at the price of 1426 versus the issue price that was set at 920 rupees a share. The management, after the strong listing, joined us on CNBC TV18. They said that the funds raised through this particular issue will be used towards technology development, increasing buyer and supply base globally. Also, they said that as buyers and suppliers grow, the GMV growth will also come through for the company. Just a brief in terms of what the company does. It's a travel distribution platform offering travel inventory. It supports wide range of currencies along with Forex help. Now, as far as the buyers are concerned, the platform is an integrated multi-currency, multilingual platform for them to discover and book their travel across the world. Now let's speak about the company where the 2600 crore issue opens today, and this is Go Digit IPO. The subscription as of now, the total IPO is subscribed about 22%. Retail portion has been fully subscribed. The IPO closes on May 18th. Price band is between 258 to 272 rupees a share. The fresh issue part of this is about 1125 crore rupees. OFS is about 1490 crore rupees. The total issue size at 2615 crore rupees. As far as the selling shareholder is concerned, that's the promoter entirely, about 5.47 crore shares. As far as the company and the usage of funds is concerned, about 1125 crore rupees coming through the fresh issue will be used to shore up the solvency margins for the company. Just to give you a slight idea in terms of how small the company is in terms of the other two listed players, ICICI Lombard and New India Assurance, the total income of ICICI Lombard is 2.5 times and New India is 5 times bigger than Go Digit. ICICI Lombard issued 3 times and New India Assurance issued 3.5 times more policies than Go Digit. ICICI Lombard's gross premium is 3 times and New India's is 5 times bigger than Go Digit. Now, two important factors: operating profit. Go Digit has a loss of about 10 crore. ICICI Lombard has a profit of 1300 crore rupees. The combined ratio for Go Digit is 108.7. ICICI Lombard is 103.7, even better. And despite that, Go Digit is coming out with a valuation of 9.7 times price to book value, whereas ICICI Lombard trades at 7.95 times price to book value. New India Assurance is even lower at about 1.4 times price to book value.
All right, Yash, thanks very much. And this is the 10th or the 11th company, insurance company, Yash? 11th,
in terms of total insurance companies, 11th
listed
company
companies.
In terms of, yes, general insurance companies, this will be the third general insurance company to list on the exchanges.
Okay, all right. Well, there's a flurry. And I think there are more coming in the insurance space. I'll just get Ambareesh's view here. But the other listing today was Aadhar Housing Finance, which had a sort of muted kind of debut. So didn't do very much right at the word go, but then it ended about 5% higher. It's basically a housing finance company, nearly 20,000 crores in terms of AUM. And they've sort of gotten to this particular level in about 14 years flat. Started in 2010. I remember speaking with a company. They largely lent to the salaried segment, and they say that a 20% CAGR in terms of AUM growth for the next couple of years, next many years, is very much possible. So opened at 315, closed at 330 rupees nearly. That is Aadhar Housing Finance. Ambareesh, any thoughts? Either of these? Actually, there are three companies. There is this TBO Tech, the online travel B2B company. There is Go Digit. There is, of course, Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma, who are, of course, investors with a large, significant chunk of holding there. And there is Aadhar Housing. Your pick.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at Go Digit, I don't think you can give that sort of a valuation just because of the sort of investors which are there, which are the brand ambassadors for that. So I think it is a bit too expensive. I mean, I would give it a pass. When you talk of Aadhar, I think the valuations are decent. I mean, although people may not really, investors may not really find it too interesting as compared to many other housing finance companies which are now lending to luxury housing, because there the ticket size are much bigger. Here the ticket size is small. But then looking at the valuations, I feel there is a decent upside, but it may not be immediate. I think one have to wait for possibly the next 12 to 15 months to get some sort of a return. But looking at the muted sort of a debut, I think it's a buying opportunity for Aadhar. When you talk of TBO, I think it was an excellent sort of a listing. And looking at the global opportunities for this company and the way travel and tourism is playing out and expected to play out at least in the foreseeable future, I think this is one company to be bought whenever there's a correction.
Okay, thank you very much, Shrikant and Ambareesh, for joining in. Let's also take a quick look at the key corporate voices today. First up, Shree Cement. The management expects a volume growth of 8 to 10% in FY25. They believe that efficiency levels are expected to rise in terms of volumes. They also see a cut in costs for energy consumption. The management is confident of seeing growth in demand led by infrastructure push.
Well, DLF was another management which was on the channel in the morning. They're guiding for between 17,000 crores to 18,000 crore rupees in sales for FY25. The company is an upcoming project pipeline, which includes projects in Goa, Mumbai. The management said that they have their hands full now in terms of the project pipeline for at least the next 3 years.
We also spoke to the top brass of V-Mart. The management there is gunning for a SSG growth of 6 to 7% for next year, which compares with a 1% growth in FY24. The company aims for a revenue growth of 13 to 15%. They also said that they don't want to push on margins from here on.
Okay, focusing on volumes there. Another company on the radar today was Mazgaon Dock. The company has confirmed that they have bought additional 15 acres from the Mumbai Port Authority where they're starting development. The new yard will be completed by October of 2025. They already have about 21 orders for about 21 vessels which will be made there. They also talked about exports as an opportunity and said that they've got orders coming in from some European clients for 6 vessels. All right, well, that's corporate commentary. We'll take a quick commercial break here. We come back with a popular segment, D Street Chatter. The stocks Nimesh has got on his radar, and we'll also tell you the events to watch out for tomorrow.
Well, it's time now for a segment D Street Chatter. Nimesh joins in. Nimesh, hi.
Hi, Rima. So, dip consolidation on the Nifty, but the broader markets continue to outperform despite the fact that there was FII selling. Now, in terms of individual names, the first stock on my list is Aadhar Housing. The fresh listing from today, huge delivery got marked in terms of huge volumes there. I understand a couple of HNI investors were active buyers on the very first day itself. So that's the first name. The second name is LIC Housing Finance. It's been consolidating of late, but I understand a leading long-only fund seems to be an active buyer of late. So hence expect high delivery volumes in that particular name. The third stock is GAIL. Within the PSU basket, GAIL stood out in terms of very strong buy flows from larger FIs today. And the last name is Chouhan Energy. That's been buzzing in trade, big volumes as well. In fact, this week the stock is up 10%. I understand a domestic mutual fund is an active buyer of late, and hence a big move in that stock as well in today's market.
All right, Nimesh. Thanks very much. Interesting list, Chouhan especially, and we'll talk more about that in the coming days. And right up your alley, in Deal Street, shares of Cipla were in focus today, and they were up almost about 4%. 2 crore shares worth about 2.5% of equity changed hands in 3 block deals. The company has confirmed that its promoters, the Hamid family, sold that stake in the pharma giant. 1406 as far as the close today is concerned. So that's specific stocks, but what to watch out for as we come back tomorrow. Ekta is standing by with that list. Ekta, hi.
Thanks for that. Well, I'll start with the US because we do have data, which is the initial jobless claims from the US. We have the US housing starts and building permits, Fed Barr's speech, Fed Harker's speech, and China retail sales as well as industrial production. In terms of results on Thursday back home, M&M, Motherson Sumi Wiring, InfoEdge, Biocon, Kaplan Point, Indoco Remedies, Kim's, Axo Nobel, Vodafone India, Container Corp, Crompton Greaves, Consumer Electricals, Hindustan Aeronautics, All Cargo Gati. Now, separately, 361 and Equitas Small Finance Bank will be presenting at the Axis Capital India Financials FinTech Conference. So do watch out for any takeaways from there.
Thank you, Ekta, for that. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Markets Forward. We'll be back with more news and updates.